time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
Okay, welcome in, everybody. Big episode today of the Patrick Johnson Show. A fresh episode for you as we're going to have the head pirate, Blake Harrell, on with us with our Harrell Huddle. And it is brought to you by Healthwise Pharmacy. Thanks for being with us here. Got a great set of shows for the week ahead. We'll tell you all about that coming up. Philip Pilkington is here, and let's do our top five to start things here at 5 o'clock today.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
Hang on. Number one. There we go. Number one.
Number one, starting in a little Pirate news. Officially yesterday, head coach Blake Harrell reinstated the three Pirates who had faced some legal trouble over the summer. Preston Carr, J.D. Lampley, and Brock Spalding have all been fully reinstated to the Pirate roster. They had been suspended indefinitely back early August or late July. So
Hadn't they been practicing?
yeah, not the whole time, or at least as far as the media knew. I had not seen them out there those first couple practices, and then actually some of them spoke at Media Day and have been out there at practice the last 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought they'd been back for a minute, but I guess it was announced by Harrell yesterday. Is that what you're telling me, or
Yeah.
the other day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday, I think it was right after we went on air, it got announced, and
Oh,
I
I
just didn't
see.
see it.
I see. I understand. Look, I think there is a tightrope you have to walk of discipline, and obviously you need these players to have a successful season. And as we have talked about, Pilk, this is a transactional business now, because that's what it is. It's a business. Now, we asked this. I think, maybe it might be worth asking Blake. I don't want to put him in an uncomfortable position, but it might be worth finding out. Let's assume these guys are getting paid, because they probably are in rev share, right?
Yeah, they probably are, yeah.
You fine them?
Are you allowed to fine them?
I mean, if you're paying them, why can't you fine them?
Yeah, you should be able to, but I don't know how that works. And this whole rev sharing thing still. This might be a good
what I'd
Amanda
do.
Kristovich
I'd
question
fine 'em.
for tomorrow to see if we're allowed to fine players.
Yeah.
I wish we had
Amanda
maybe had.
Kristovich.
I wish we had her today and Blake tomorrow, and then that would be better
Yeah.
chronological order. But it is what it is.
Well, Blake today and Amanda Kristovich tomorrow, Thursday, Joe Giglio from the OG podcast in the Sports Podcast Festival, which is set to go off this weekend. All right. So, yeah, I mean, that is that. I think Spalding is probably the most egregious because there was a resisting charge slapped with that. And we may ask Coach about, the because, we got to be fair.
Yeah.
And we got to report. So just, what all of that, but this doesn't feel to me, Pilk, like there's any kind of gamble going on here. I mean, you're not, oh gosh, you're not letting the best and brightest necessarily back in. I mean, J.D. Lampley is J.D. I don't know J.D. very well. I've talked to him a couple times as of you. He's not the most energetic, dynamic orator in the settings we talk to him. I found Preston Carr to be quite a delightful fella.
Yeah.
And then, we've talked to Spalding a little bit, but, if the team is good with this and the coaching staff feel like they have met their obligation that they had or obligations they had during suspension, I have no problem with this. Plus, it helps them increase their chances of beating NC State potentially.
Yeah, it doesn't look. Nobody was injured. I think that's the thing. I think there been an injury
Correct.
involved or something like that. Especially to someone not part of the group, then you got to take it a little more. But I mean, they made a mistake.
Was it stupid? Yes. Is it a victimless crime? Thankfully, yes.
Yeah.
Thankfully, yes. And obviously, they're gonna look. They're gonna need every bit of that rev share because they got to hire attorneys. All right, here we go.
Number 2.
All right, this is a little more lighthearted on this one. Most of you've probably seen
I don't know
this.
how
as it
lighthearted
happened.
this is. This is boneheaded, not lighthearted. This is boneheaded.
It's going to make for a lighthearted segment. I guess you guys saw this probably. I think it happened Friday, actually. Kind of went viral Saturday that ESPN's Monica McNutt got a Barry Sanders jersey confused with a Shedeur Sanders jersey. By the way, it's not like a Barry Sanders Oklahoma State faded jersey. It's like a nice new Lions sewn on numbers
Pretty good-looking jersey.
Yeah.
Let's get into it because obviously this ties to one Shedeur Sanders who balled out in his first preseason game.
This is
I'm sorry, I apologize. Barry Sanders. But the tie, come on, the tie is the Sanders. Bear with me. Bear with me. But let's get into Shedeur because appropriate that you're also a fan there, right?
So, many places to go. First of all, who is that's a comedian or an actor? Or a rapper or something, the guy that was on there?
Yeah, I don't even know who the guy is, but he was clearly, I think they said the guy was from Detroit, so he was trying to rep his Barry Sanders jersey, but he turned it around so that people could see the last name.
Sanders.
And,
okay.
You know, kind of like when Joey Football came on our show and did that.
So Joey's Football is a trend center. I hear what you're saying.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So, you know, here would be my thing. I'm going to go in a little different direction here. This just shows you for this modern era how much Prime and Shedeur have, unfortunately, in my opinion, saturated the culture. How much they've saturated the sport. That a host would think it's Shedeur Sanders when Shedeur Sanders couldn't carry Barry Sanders' cleats.
Yeah. I mean,
not now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, not ever could he carry Barry Sanders' jockstrap.
I think the problem is, too, though, you're right, they've saturated it, but the problem is I think social media has allowed them to saturate. I don't think this happens 20 years ago.
We probably don't know this clip exists 20 years ago.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm going off your whole point of the whole saturating the whole situation in sports.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't think that even happens 20 years ago because, again, social media has allowed the stories that aren't around the game to become bigger stories than they're supposed to be. Taylor Swift.
Well, social media has allowed people who are not talented to gain some measure of fame, as dissected and bisected and as niche as it may be, and for whatever reason, people are able to make we have more people now that are known in broader circles, but nobody's a superstar now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's very few. I mean, again, when I go back to when we returned to the air last week, we talked about the death of Hulk Hogan. Everybody in that era knew for about a 15, 20-year period who Hulk Hogan was. Everybody. Yeah. Whether you were a wrestling fan or not, everybody knew who Michael Jordan was. And still, most everybody does know who Michael Jordan is. I look no further than my nephews, who my oldest one, Fitzpatrick, Jay, huge NBA fan, loves the Greek Freak. That's his guy. But you ask him who's the GOAT, LeBron or MJ, and he'll go on and on about Michael Jordan.
There you go.
So, I mean,
raising him right in the Johnson household.
But, I mean, nobody in this day and age, to me, will ever reach that kind of worldwide acclaim and height. Now, for Monica McNutt, shame on her for not knowing. And I always am careful when it comes to broadcasting stuff because, this here, let's face it, you and I are we're adrift on our own little boat here in the ocean, and we're left to a lot of our own devices, so we try to do the best we can. Having worked a lot of television and continuing to, there are people in your ear constantly. And you have to not only keep up with what's going on as an announcer, but you have to process what they're telling you. And does it meet what is happening in the moment of the game? I'm not talking about, hey, we got this coming up, we're about to show this. I'm talking about sometimes you'll get producers who make suggestions that you should drop this line. You get producers who say you should make this point.
Yeah.
And so you got people in your ear, even in a little earpiece on one of those TV shows. Those like studio shows are the worst.
Oh yeah.
You got a producer totally in your ear the whole time for that. So, again, this is not a slip of the tongue. This is a busted GPS, and McNutt is pretty apparent of what you have now, and someone who's got, whether you like it or not, a personality, but maybe not the knowledge to back up the personality. All right.
And real quick, I just want to say this. Look, we've messed stuff up on here before, right? We've misspoken, pronounced the guy's name, whatever. But the thing is, I think a lot of that is because we don't have it in front of us, and what made it worse is the jersey was in front of her. So how does she not? And then she doubles down on it. She goes like, "Oh, well, let's talk about Shador anyways." Like just be like, "Oh, sorry, I messed up." But instead of apologizing, messed up. Well, let's leave this under Shador. Like, I don't know, man.
You screwed up. Yeah, I understand.
Number three,
a guy who's not going to make these mistakes. Rich Eisen hosted SportsCenter last night for the first time in 22 years.
So, here's what I would say about Rich Eisen. I'm not to me, Eisen's one of the luckiest guys in broadcast. Everybody likes him. But I mean, I never found he was sort of the Robin to Stewie Scott's Batman, the late Stuart Scott's Batman.
Yeah.
I always thought he was very lucky to get the gig at the NFL Network and make it work. And, this is probably before your time. When you go back to right now the NFL Network is fairly commonplace, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's a pretty big deal in certain circles. But it's obviously not the brand that ESPN is, even though they are now commingling. Let's say they both, they have a stake in one another. More on that in a second. I always thought Eisen would go to the NFL Network and we'd never hear from him again. Like you've had other people go to certain networks off of ESPN and you don't hear. I mean, Brian Kenny, who is a talented broadcaster now at MLB Network. And you probably realized he's at MLB Network because you probably watch MLB Network.
Exactly. Yeah, I do.
But a lot of people don't. And a lot of people, well, whatever happened to so-and-so and so-and-so? I mean, is this Blockbuster? I mean, this is, what we're going back to here is that. And again, Eisen, by all accounts, is a great guy, has kind of a fun little show that he does, that sort of thing. He's had tremendous success on the NFL Network. This is the good thing to come out of this ESPN NFL merger. The bad thing will be when Monica McNutt is hosting the Red Zone. That will be what the big issue.
I'm going to miss NFL Game Day Morning though on NFL Network, man. I can tell you, he
is
had
that
great.
Going away?
I don't know, but him and Mooch and Warner just had such chemistry.
I don't know if that goes away, but that's a great point because I don't know if. Essentially, you're going to be running those things, because we've since learned apparently that Inside the NBA is not going to air every week.
Yeah,
there's going to be weeks it's not going to air.
Yeah, so. I heard that. My thing is, I think they give it to Kyle Brandt, and Kyle Brandt's fine, but he doesn't have the chemistry with those guys, with Warner and Steve.
No, I think Eisen stays. I think Eisen stays. I mean, I'm right now. The question is how much of that will appear on ESPN, but we'll see. All right, where are we on this? Number what? 17? Oh, 4. Okay.
4.
All
right, this will be kind of a quick one. The Browns announced yesterday afternoon that Joe Flacco, Super Bowl champion, will be their starting quarterback for the regular season.
Forget the dog pound. This is the retirement home pound, right?
It sounds like it.
Hey, I mean, the whole situation there screams instability. Flacco maybe brings them that, but I mean, it's a shaky quarterback plan since they paid Deshaun Watson all that cash and things went very, very south there with his off the field issues. We've seen what they've done with what they drafted. They drafted a diminutive guy. They drafted Sanders, who's more sizzle than steak. Maybe a little more steak than we thought, but still more sizzle than steak. And we just talked about his issues. I think what they're betting on here is the defense. Well, obviously there's the injury factor, but the defense is going to be able to maybe hold, and Flacco's going to do just enough to not hurt us. Other than that, Pilk, I can't imagine what the Cleveland's betting on here.
I'm with you there because I think the best thing that could happen to Cleveland is for Bernie Kosar to start aging backwards and get back into his 30s because that's the only way this is going to truthfully be successful.
I mean, it's, I know you as a Panthers fan have felt that helpless feeling of where is this going? If you're Cleveland, it's every year, where is this going?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not even a light at the end of the tunnel on any of this.
Poor Billy Grover.
5.
All right, yesterday, Rob Manfred once again spoke about expansion and said if we do go to 32 teams in majors, there will be 8 divisions of 4. There's been a lot of projected divisions that have come out of this, and they kind of vary depending on where that Eastern team lands, whether it lands in Nashville, whether it lands in the Carolinas. And one of the ones that Fox Sports put out, though, I don't know if you saw this, PJ, had the Giants and Dodgers being split up. It had them both in the National League, but not in the same division. All the ones I saw did keep your Cubbies and the Cardinals together and my Sox with the Yankees. But, it was a little bit of a weird one there to split those two up.
Well, I guess, you're probably talking more than L.A., Anaheim, San Diego, and Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just kind of happens that way, I guess.
What about Vegas? Why not put Vegas in there? But I guess but Oakland's probably in with San Francisco, I think, is what.
Yeah.
I say Oakland, but the artist formerly known as the Oakland
And then there
A's.
was one, though, I saw one, I can't remember who put it out, where it had, like, the A's with, like, some of the Texas teams or something. Like, Texas, Kansas City, Vegas, and Houston or something like that. Yeah.
So let's talk 8 divisions, 4 teams. Sounds like a pretty good idea. You do risk the idea of diluting rivalries. Are there going to be mediocre division winners? The big deal, the problem that MLB has more than anything is, and I think the pitch clock's been a great, what a great deal. It's been good for the game. You're balancing tradition and the need to make money, and with no other sport. The two seem diametrically opposed, more so than any other major league sport. At least to me, that's what it seems.
Yeah, maybe the only one that would close to be that boat is NASCAR.
Good point.
But NBA, NHL, NFL.
Well, and the NHL's actually thrived. Look, we see what is taken. We didn't get a chance to talk to LeBlanc about this last week because he just wouldn't shut up. But I say that with love. I think Bettman's done the best job of any commissioner, not named Goodell. But, certainly to me, I would say Bettman's done a better job than Manfred, and you could say has done a better job than the guy the NBA has done.
Silver. The thing is the NHL fans are always going to hang over their head, that 05 season never happening. That was bad.
Oh. But, still, that's 20 years ago. And, again, I come back to the Monica McNutts of the world think that's a Shadir Sanders. Our attention spans are nothing. So,
fair enough.
I think traditionalists will push back on this, but it's a money thing. And what's the most valuable real estate in the sport of baseball? The postseason.
Postseason, yeah.
Postseason.
Yeah.
In the TV show that's baseball, the most valuable real estate. So the more teams you have in the postseason, the more valuable the real estate, the more valuable the inventory, as we say in the biz.
No, I agree.
Right. That's a good top 5 there, Pill.
That was
good
fun.
Top 5 on the topics and stories. Always good. People like that segment. All right, we're going to hit a break. We're going to come back, and we will talk with the head pirate himself, Blake Harrell. Lots to talk about with him when he joins us on the Patrick Johnson Show. It'll be our Harrell Huddle for HealthWise Pharmacy.
Listen up. He's talking now.
Sorry, thought we were vibing.
The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It is time for the Harrell Huddle. It is brought to you by Healthwise Pharmacy in Greenville. Blake Harrell joining us here as we talk Pirate football. Always great to catch up with Coach. I've twisted his arm and got him to be back on with me again. So, Coach, thanks for the check-in again. You were kind enough to welcome us back on the program when we came back in the afternoons last week, but appreciate the time here today. Camp is wrapped up. It's in full mode to get ready for NC State. So as we begin things at this point, a little more than a week out from the season opener, let's just kind of get a state of where you think things are as we head into the matchup against the Pack.
Yeah, Patrick, thanks for having me on. I always appreciate you guys taking care of us over here and your coverage and all that you do for us. But, yeah, finally wrapped up camp, and we've started on our first opponent this week in NC State in preparation for August 28th. And I've just seen a different mindset, a different shift, not only within our players but within our whole building, our staff, and everyone's just, you finally get tired of going against each other and offense versus defense, and now you get to go against an opponent and some look teams. And, even the look teams today, I was bragging on them at the end of practice this morning, just doing a great job of trying to simulate the best they can of NC State and trying to make each side of the ball better. And in return, I told them if they'll continue to do that, they'll make themselves better as well as we go. But our kids are all locked in on NC State and what they do and their tendencies possibly and what kind of schemes they run. And although that's our preparation, our main focus is still on ourselves and how we prepare and how we do things and how we want to play the game.
Coach, when we last talked to you, there was some talk about kind of sorting out things from the linebacker position. Specifically, I want to talk to you about Sam Danka because, he's not the prototypical as far as the measurables linebacker, but, man, what a long and tremendous athlete he is. So could you maybe speak to Sam a little bit, and then where do you feel like that position is after everything is kind of sorted out?
Yeah, so unfortunately or fortunately for those guys, one or the other, it just depends on how you look at it. That's where my eyes tend to go to all the time, right?
Right.
I was the coordinator before and coached the linebackers forever, and I'm probably most critical of those guys. Just no different than an offensive coach would have been the quarterback. But Sam has done a tremendous job and really seen him grow in that position. We moved him from outside linebacker to inside backer. And, as you mentioned, he's long, 6'3", 6'4", can run and covers. He was actually a high school safety. And he's done a great job of adding some weight to. He's up to 223, 224, and doing a really good job in the box there. So, when you're on the edge, sometimes all you worry about is your job, and then all of a sudden when you're at linebacker, you're more worried about the whole big picture, and you got to be the quarterback of the defense. So he's doing a good job with that, and continue to run his part of the show too, and do his thing. So he's also given us more versatility. He was one of our better pass rushers, so he's going to be one of our better blitzers, and then he can also cover guys down the field as well. So I think he will help us grow our package and extend our scheme to kind of fit him as well. I think each and every year you slightly tweak some things for what you may have available to you within your toolbox with your players, and Sam certainly allows us to do that. So I think that room overall is stepping it up. Day-Day had a good last few days. DJ Johnson's having a good last few days. So I think those guys are getting ready, and I think the fact we kind of just focus on a game plan now and not the whole playbook will help those guys as well.
Coach Blake Harrell, head coach of the ECU Pirates, joining us here. It's our Harrell Huddle for Healthwise Pharmacy and Vital Care of Greenville. Thanks to Coach for taking a few moments with us here on the program today. Who will wear the communication headset on the defense, Coach?
Yeah. So that's the new thing. Coach the player last year came in, and it's a headset that goes from a coach and just got a little earpiece in their helmet to one player, and you can only have one player on each time that wears it. Obviously, on offense, it'll be our quarterbacks, and then on defense, last year it was our Mike linebacker, and this year we plan on doing the same. Just think the communication piece as far as the secondary. If you put it on safety, those guys are a little far away to be able to communicate. But if you put it on a linebacker, he can kind of control the front 6 or 7 there and then get it to those guys. You still signal in on both sides of the ball as well. I think the only time you wouldn't signal in, if in the NFL you don't see a lot of signals because those guys huddle every snap. In college football, you see a lot more no huddle. It's kind of the reasoning behind that. Then that communication system obviously turns off at 15 seconds. You start hearing if you try to talk on at that point, you start hearing a beeping noise, and you cannot have two guys on the field at the same time. So if we have a package in with our two linebackers that are both wearing a headset on the field at the same time, we got to be very cautious that the other guy has his backup helmet on, or on special teams is kind of the big factor. So if Damian Wilson was wearing it and DJ Johnson, and they were both on our kickoff team, you got to make sure one of them has their backup helmet on. So there is a little bit of some moving pieces to that, but it overall it has been a good addition to college football.
I tell you what, though, Coach, man, that's you add these layers of technology that are supposed to make everybody's life easier, and it just adds to, you got to have the backup helmet and all that. I mean, what a time to be alive, right?
Well, the other one they added last year was the on the sideline you can have the iPads, just like the NFL's had for years. And the one thing we're allowed to do this year, and I guess probably some people were doing it last year, and they couldn't catch them, so they let everybody do it now. Is at halftime, instead of just keeping it on the iPad, you can put it on a projector or a big screen or a TV. Like if you wanted to watch, the whole team wanted to watch the opening kickoff or whatever, just the offense wanted to watch a certain series or certain tag plays, they could. And I'm sure that was going on last year, which, anytime they adjust to change the rule, it's usually because they can't enforce it, so they just tweak it a little bit.
Coach Blake Harrell joining us here, Harrell Huddle for Healthwise Pharmacy. Coach, I look at this game a week from Thursday, and I think certainly the quarterbacks, as they always are in this game, are going to be really the ones I think that have a chance to make an imprint on things early, especially with so many unknowns defensively on both sides of the ball. So we've talked a lot about Caton Hauser. We'll get an update on him. But when dealing with Bailey for NC State, C.J. Bailey, when you look at what he was able to do last year as the game went on as a freshman, and then you get to face a guy that I think certainly could be one of the better and unsung quarterbacks in the preseason in the ACC. That's got to be something that, again, is that old defensive coordinator's keeping you and Coach Aldridge maybe burning a little midnight oil to scheme for him.
Yeah, I think, CJ had a phenomenal, exceptional freshman year, did a really good job, does some really good things. He's a big, long, tall athlete that can run and move the pocket around and create some plays with his legs, as well as the arm strength to make all the throws down the field and throw the field out. So really good football player. And the thing about quarterbacks, especially going into your freshman year, you get thrown into the fire and you get that experience. Well, the biggest improvement you're going to make is between the first year you get on the field and the second year you're on the field. So for us, I'm sure he'll make a huge jump and a huge improvement from last year to this year. So we got to make sure we kind of don't make it too simple for him. Don't stay in the same coverages, disguise things, change the look up, do some different things like that. And I'm sure they're building their offense around him too, which, a year ago, I think he was the backup starting the season, so the offense wasn't really tailored to him. And now they've had all off season to kind of tailor the offense to him. I think if they weren't going to do that, they probably would have, maybe changed coordinators from the outside instead of inside internally. And I think that was a big piece to probably keeping Coach Roper. He's obviously experienced and done it for a long time and a wealth of knowledge, and probably forgot more football than I'll ever know. But, you would think maybe they would have went outside, but I think they had C.J. Bailey in mind and just making sure he stayed in place. And I think that was probably a big piece of that from the outside looking in.
Coach Harrell with us here. We aired an interview from Media Day on sports about Coach Aldridge, and he, of course, the new defensive coordinator for the Pirates. He actually was with the team at the bowl game, not participating as a coach, but obviously was there, and obviously has been here since the beginning of the year. So how do you feel like what you brought to the table defensively has carried over and in some ways maybe been enhanced with Coach Aldridge?
We hired Josh before the bowl game. That was kind of to make sure our players knew who the next coordinator was going to be, and then just kind of for Josh to see how things function, how we went about our business, and help us get ahead in recruiting as well. So I think I'm going to put it this way: anytime you're a single guy, Patrick, and then you get married, your marriage, your other half only makes you even better, right? It makes both of you together. That marriage makes us together better. So I think bringing Josh aboard and just kind of some things he's done in the past, some things we've been able to do in the past, and kind of making that perfect marriage there and moving it forward will help us grow and put some new stuff out there that all Pirate Nation will be proud of.
Absolutely. Coach, some position battles that were unresolved when we talked to you last week at the beginning of the week. Center with that position. And you've got, of course, Darius Bell. You've got Weaver. A little bit of Panda Askew mixed in there. How is that particular position shaping up?
Yeah, I feel good about the depth of the O-line. I think we got 7 guys who we'll see play game 1 and rotate some guys around. I think the biggest piece of that for me is coming from the defensive side of the ball is if we're asking an O-lineman to play 80 snaps, how well is he going to do his job on snap 70 through 80 when the game's on the line, the most critical time,
right?
When the defensive lineman across from him has only played 40 snaps and still fresh. So somehow we got to keep those guys fresh. And the guys you just mentioned, Panda, Bryce, and Darius have all done a great job and can play various positions. So it allows us the flexibility to do that and kind of, whether it's Jamarion or Kojo or, Cooper or whoever it may be, Kyle Long to kind of get those guys a break, keep them fresh, and then make sure when the game's on the line in the fourth quarter that we're at our best.
The kicking job, Nick Mazzy, the transfer, Conrad Noah Perez. Very rare that a program has 3 guys that have kicked.
Yep. Yeah, we're looking at two seniors and Noah's in his he's been in his 4th year as well and going at it, and got a really good competition, very competitive there, and guys that have all kicked in big games and made big plays. I mean, Noah scored for us in field goals and extra points in the bowl game. Nick's hit some big kicks at this institution he come from, and Conrad's hit some big kicks over the years, and just making sure that we put the guy out there that gives us the best chance to win football games. It also, you feel good about the depth in that game and the competition in that room too. I think anytime you have competition within a room, it brings out the best. And then if you got depth, if somebody tweaks up and it's not 100%, you got good depth in there. If somebody gets overkicked, you can also go to the next guy. So it's almost like the pitchers in baseball. You got to keep rotating them just to put your best stuff out there. So I'm not sure we're going to rotate them every game, but I do feel good about the competition in that room and where we're at from a depth standpoint.
Coach, it was announced officially J.D. Lampley, Preston Carr, and Brock Spalding, were reinstated. I'm without getting into all the details. I'm sure whatever they needed to do as far as to get back in good standing with you and with their teammates, they did that to your satisfaction.
I think we talked about this early on, and it was just kind of not the only message for those guys, but the message for our team. Forget the event, learn from the event. And what that means is just, hey, I got to learn from a mistake I've made, and we all make mistakes, and we got to grow from those and move on. And those men have certainly earned their way back. Everything we talk about is earned. You earn a spot on this team. You earn a scholarship. You earn, a chance to travel. You earn a starting position. And it's no different for those 3 young men and earning their way back on our football program and doing some things that they need to throughout the process. And, they're young men, and our job as coaches is to help guide them and mentor them and make sure we help them grow from every single situation out there, whether it's something like this or just anything that can occur in life. And we got to be there to help them out and helping them be men. So they've done a good job of going through the process and going through what we need them to and staying along those lines and looking forward to the future of this season.
And, Coach, let me ask you a little bit about we mentioned Caden Hauser. How much has the Mike Wright influence, who really seems like he's someone here for the right reasons? He wants to win. He wants to go to the postseason. He wants to be someone that's part of a winning program. How much has the competition certainly helped Caton, but also how much have those two been able to maybe share a lot of ideas between them?
You know, probably, and I was talking to Coach Baker about this the other day, Mike has probably been, you know, in some type of leadership role every school he's been at, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and Northwestern. You know, he's got a undergrad from Vanderbilt and a graduate degree from Northwestern. And just his knowledge and experience and his leadership, I think not only helps our quarterback room, helps Caton, and takes maybe a little bit of pressure off him from that standpoint, but helps our football team and just his energy and his attitude that he brings to our football team, and just his mindset. You know, it doesn't have to be him out there making plays. He's willing to play his role and do his role. And obviously, we talked before about Caton's our guy, and we're pretty much a one quarterback system. And you know, if you're trying to play two, you're only playing. You know, you're not really have one. But we feel really good about Caton. But I think everything Mike's done off the field is helping our football program move forward.
Coach, appreciate the time as always. Last thing, what will the next, with a Thursday opener, what will the next several days look like as far as, you know, kind of scheduling out goes?
Yeah, in game one or anytime you have a bye week throughout the season, you're really getting an extra week of preparation. So you're really, you know, yesterday was a Monday, today's a Tuesday, tomorrow's a Wednesday, obviously practice for us, just like it would be during the season. And then at some point we'll kind of reload, reset, and go through that process again. So you're almost getting double the work for opponent one than you would at any other point in the season. But you also need that work too, because sometimes when you go through it, you know, guys are going through it the first time, so they're not used to the routine and the process yet. So we're excited about it. We're looking forward to it, and a lot of work to do over the next week or so. But, you know, our guys are attacking it, and it's urgency and intent and purpose within it. Also, while we're on here, Patrick, I want to send a shout-out to all the high school football teams kicking off this week. I started out as a high school coach in the state in North Carolina. Started out, I think my first job was teaching the old junior high, middle school PE and coaching that level and coaching varsity football. And I appreciate all the teachers and what they do out there as we get started with school. And just good luck to all the student athletes. And you mean a lot, not just to your team and your program, but to the communities in North Carolina. So thank you for all you're doing, and best of luck.
Well said, Coach. Really well said. Hey, Blake, thank you. Always great to catch up with you. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Patrick. Enjoy your week.
All right, Blake Harrell with us here on our Harrell Huddle, and it's brought to you by Healthwise Pharmacy. Stay tuned. We're going to have more of the PJ Show coming up right after this.
Back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back. We got a jam-packed show, so let's get started.
Deep breath. Here we go.
Yeah, we're popping today. Thanks to Coach Harrell for being with us on the program. We continue on our interviews from Media Day. A couple of players had the chance to talk with them. Our very own Philip the Ref Pilkington, sophomore Jamari Riddle at one of the safety spots, and at the other, the veteran Tegan Wilk. Captivating interview with those two and our very own Philip the Ref Pilkington.
All right, I'm here with the two starting safeties of the East Carolina Pirates, Jamari Riddle and Tegan Wilk. So, Jamari, we'll start with you. You started last year as a true freshman. Here you're moving into this sophomore season. How are you adapting to college football? Do you feel like you're fully there?
I think I'm in a good spot where I'm at right now. I'm very comfortable, like just knowing a lot of things, the playbook, just knowing like formations, route concepts, everything, like just knowing football.
So, second year with Coach Maggs, and obviously, you know, he played here. He knows what it's like to play in front of the boneyard. So, how is it playing with Coach Maggs, and what's your favorite thing about him?
I just got to say it's a blessing, man. And my favorite thing about Maggs, let me think something real deep. I would say just him, like while he coaching, he just point out like every detail, like every small detail. I think like he all the small details. I think that's my favorite thing about him.
Yeah, he definitely does pay attention to it. I think that's why he was so successful here. And Tegan, welcome back to Greenville. How does it feel to be back?
It really does feel great. There's really no place that I'd rather be. It's good to be around like-minded people who have, chasing the same goal as I am.
Like-minded people. You bagging on the big city? Did you not like Houston? Is that what you're trying to say?
I actually really did love like the city of Houston and just like living in the city, having a bunch of like food and stuff around. Like that was nice. Being able to go like do whatever that you wanted, being in the city. But no, it's nice to come back to like a little peaceful town. You know, everybody like knows you, and everybody's cheering for you. I love that.
You know, I'm just picking on you.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, but let's talk about that. The Pirate fan base, and in no disrespect, the city of Houston, like you said, it's a massive metropolitan city. There is an NFL team there. There are two, FBS or three FBS teams. I guess now Sam Houston going to FBS teams there. So you were not the only game in town. How does it feel to be back to kind of being the only game in town? Because look, let's be honest, if you're a Pirate fan in Greenville, move back to where you came from.
Yeah,
right?
No, it really does feel great. I mean, it's hard to put in words when you really just have to like experience it. But I mean, our first time, me and my fiance drove back the 23-hour drive or whatever it was. We drove back and then came here, and then I stopped at Sheetz to get a drink. Literally, like, it was like 11 o'clock at night. Like, it was super late, and the cashier was like, hey, looked like, and was like, oh my God, like, welcome back. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Like, it really means a lot.
So we go into this big game. Obviously, you played these guys a year ago, but it's a new coordinator, offensive coordinator that you're going to see. And so I'm sure they're going to do some things differently. We don't really know. How do you guys balance watching the film from last year's game and, kind of prepared for the unknown? Because I'm sure they've had a lot of time to change things up, as you guys have had a lot of time to change things up.
I would say with the new coordinator coming in and stuff, like to balance out the film, we'll pull out his film like from his old school and stuff to see like his scheme and stuff like that. So
yeah, the main thing that you have to look at when we're watching film is like the 2021 version of NC State. That's what we're looking at, and it's not just that too. To me, a big thing that they have is Coach Sims, who actually worked for ECU before, is now on their staff, and so he knows our defense or our old defense and like how we operated and things like that. So I think that like him being able to like give them that advantage, like we just need to like push forth, and I think that us having like a completely different scheme really helps us out.
And you just mentioned the old defense. You guys both at different times played for Coach Harrell, the defensive coordinator, right. Coach Harrell. How is Coach Harrell doing right now? Is he calmed down, be able to breathe a little bit? I think he was kind of drinking through a fire hose last season. You were here for that. You seem like Coach Harrell's back to his old self. Has he changed a little bit since being a DC? Either one of you can answer that, maybe both of you.
I wouldn't say he changed, but like he definitely I feel like he take good care of us stuff like that. Honestly.
Yeah, it's not just that too. Like when you're a head coach, you're always on edge. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely a lot of times where as a defense coordinator, and he was a lot more calm on certain days than he would be when he was the head coach. But like you're always got to be on edge as the head coach and make sure that every little detail is going to plan.
All right, now the next thing, the last thing, I kind of want both of you guys to take on this. 12 days till game day. You guys wrapped up camp yesterday. How do you balance not getting too hyped up for game day too early? Because, I mean, I know you want to be hyped on game day. I'm sure you're ready to hit somebody in a opposite colored uniform now, but you got to wait 12 days. I guess better than most teams having to wait 14 days. But, so how do you kind of slowly amp up to the game day mentality?
My biggest thing is what Coach Aldridge has been hitting us with is that, like, you want to control your emotions, not let your emotions control you. And the biggest thing, I mean, for myself is, like, throughout practice, like, that's the most hype, that's the most energy I'm going to have in terms of, like, intensity and stuff like that towards, like, before practice and, around my teammates. When it comes to game day, it's time to lock in and, focus on the little things, not be over the top with your energy and, like showing all your emotions like that. It's more about just locking in on that day. And I think that these next 2 weeks is really what's going to, build us up and see how we like operate for, that first game.
I'm kind of with Tegan on that. Like, for me, I'll say, like, I think I'm kind of good, like, just flipping my switch. Like, I can be chilled and, like, when it's game time, I just flip the switch, lock in, and it's time to go.
Well, we thank you both, gentlemen, for your time, and best of luck this season.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, great stuff there, Philip, the ref Pilkington. We'll be back to wrap it up. Little bit of news out of the NFL to tell you about and get you set for the rest of the week. Fresh edition today, Patrick Johnson Show. Stay with us.
And now, the stunning conclusion. Why is everyone screaming? On 94.3 The Game.
Everyone, a little breaking news for you.
So the Colts have named Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback, according to reports, Bill.
Yeah. Rough deal for Anthony Richardson, but when you prove pretty much you don't care about football, that's what happens.
It's a little different than Anthony Richardson, isn't it?
And it seems like he doesn't care from what we've kind of heard.
Yeah. You know, so to me, the Daniel Jones thing is interesting. Was it the quarterback? Was it the franchise in New York? I'm not here to try to say Daniel Jones is Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or hell, even Eli Manning.
Yeah. Look, that franchise is in shambles. They've been in shambles for a while. So let's just say that it is not all the quarterback. But look, let's go to Daniel Jones for a minute. He was drafted that high because, when he was with Cutcliffe trained him to be an NFL quarterback between the years. They huddled every play. They called 2 plays in the huddle. He was allowed to can one. He was the most NFL ready maybe a quarterback's been in the last 20 years. Does he have the arm talent of a number 3 or 4 overall pick? No. I think he's solid-ish, but I don't think he's anything special. Can he be a starter in this league? I'd say maybe if he's in the right situation. So maybe this is a better situation. I think the franchise was holding him back, but also he's not going to go out there and win you games you had no business winning. He's never going to be a star, but he's darn smart mentally, and he was treated as such at Duke. Yeah.
I just wonder, is the situation right now in Indy designed for him to, let's just say a game manager, probably an overused phrase. I don't know.
Time will tell. You thought it would have been in New York, but New York is just – the Giants seem to be really, really good or really, really bad.
Yeah. When you look at the AFC South, who you got in that?
Houston, I guess. Like by default, Houston, though. But it's by default.
But they kind of came back after the year before. I don't know. But you're right.
Pretty good in that playoff game against the Chargers.
They did, but I think by default, I think that you're right. That's kind of where it needs to go. Houston right now.
Again,
I really am interested
by
to see
default.
what happens.
If somebody jumps
by
up,
default. Right?
Jump up.
I'm
Come on,
anxious to see what Jacksonville does this year. I really am. All right. Hey, great stuff today. Great to have Blake Harrell on. Amanda Kristovich tomorrow. Joe Giglio on Thursday. And we'll see you in the morning on Talk of the Town. But back here, PJ Show for your Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Looking forward to it.